Hi guys, how are you doing? So, so we are back again live. Welcome to the channel. So there has been things that are happening, and on Monday, today is Tuesday, that is Eastern Standard Time, right now, which you are looking at. So there was like a lot of data out here on Monday as well. The Monday's data was specifically related to the retail sales of United States, and the data wasn't that great. It was like instead bad, and right now we are looking at a lot of stuff out here that is about to be happening, and I'll try to make it a little smaller today so that we can like keep the stream little tight within the time. So we do have Japanese yen industrial activity data, then there is a Swiss economic forecast data that would be announced. The data for the Japanese yen actually came out, so it's the industrial activity, of course, like the actual is greater than forecast, but it is a bit bad that the data which actually came out. And then there is also German's economic sentiments, which is related to the euro out here. Then there's a trade balance data. Roundabout data is positive. That's a good sign that the exports are more than imports. And then economic sentiments that are being shown here, it seems really good. Overall, the euro data seems really good. So then we have CPI. So CPI actually is the inflation adjusted price, so of goods and services purchased by consumers. And we can see that on the monthly level it is the good is for the good than actual forecast, better than the forecasted one is actually considered good. And we can see right here, guys, just a sec, there's some error in the stream right now. Let me like correct it if I can. Just a sec. Yeah, I don't know what really happened. Anyway, we have like a core CPI for the on the monthly level. Then there's a CPI that is coming, that is important. Then we have like a median CPI yearly, and then trimmed CPI. And we can look into this median and trimmed. So released monthly, usually on the third Tuesday, that's true. And consumer prices account for the majority of inflation, and it's the average price of the various goods and services are sampled and then compared to the previous sampling. That's a median. And when it comes to the trim, it is around about same, but so the trimmed one actually exclude the most volatile 40% of the items, while the median doesn't have that. It includes the volatile items. So the excluding of the volatile items is actually known as trimmed CPI that is coming out. And then we have like a core CPI for the Canadian dollar. And then this is a housing data that is actually coming out, that building permits, that how many permits are issued, then housing start, and import prices. So let's check this import prices, that what it actually says. The change in the prices of imported goods and services domestically purchased domestically, and it contributes to the inflation of the business. So the thing is that the imported goods that are being imported here, it's the prices that are being changed of the imported goods. And there might be a certain kind of tariffs that are being imposed might impact this data out here that would be coming out. And then we can see the housing start. So it's like basically the new constructions begin. And then capacity utilization rate, so the percentage of available resources that being utilized by the manufacturers, miners, and utility. So it is a leading indicator for the inflation when the producers are nearly full capacity and they respond by rising prices, and higher costs are usually passed on the consumers. So similarly, actually is good then greater, and then industrial production. And then we have Aussie's data that is coming at 10:30 a.m. That is CB lending index. So like how much the amount is lended. So it is basically reading of the 7 economic indicator related to the money supply, building approvals, profit, exports, inventory, and interest rates. And it is also known as a leading indicator, and index is actually designed to predict the direction of the economy and tend to have muted the impact because most of the various indicators used in calculations are released. So it is index based on the 7 economic indicators, so quite important. Then we have New Zealand kiwi tentative data that is coming out. That is the change in the prices of dairy products sold at auction. And then we have like Westpac consumer sentiment. So it's like a survey in order to find a consumer sentiments out there. And it's a big data that is around about like 1500 consumers, which asked respondent to rate the relative level of the past and future economic conditions. And the current account, the difference in the value between the imported and exported goods, service, income flow during the previous quarter. So it is also known as a trade balance. It's kind of like a no impact because it's a duplicate of the monthly trade balance data. So it is kind of like a trade balance data, and it is coming, by the way, a little negative. So it seems like it is good because the actual is greater than the forecast. So this is among the few seasonally adjusted numbers reported on the calendar, as it's the data most commonly reported. And it's actually kind of like a trade balance that is coming out. And then a leading indicator, another leading indicator, that is CB, and this is MI. And CB is conference board, and MI here is the MI index for economic activity. So it is composite of like 9 economic indicators, that is the consumer confidence, housing, stock market prices, unemployment expectations, hours, commodity prices, and interest rate spreads. And that is actually coming out really important data, by the way, that is related to like the money supply as well. So, and unemployment and inflation, this all leads to the inflation. And the CB index data actually leads with the more or less like export and import. And then we have a machine order. The trade balance for the Japanese yen is also coming out. The data is quite largely being shifted to the from negative to positive. Seems like their exports are really great. That has happened. And then BOJ's policy rate and monetary policy. So these are the data that is actually coming out, and I hope it makes sense. But it's really important, guys, to actually remember the timing of the data that is coming out. So around about like with the euros, we can see that from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. it seems like London session would be really heavy. Then New York session can also bring a lot of difference. And then again, these data that are actually being imposed on that would be affecting the second half of the NY session. And maybe an early Asian session can be a good option to actually work in these pairs like Australian and New Zealand kiwi. And then yen's data would be also be coming out. So it is like a heavy day in a sense that we would be having a volatility in today's London session, tomorrow's NY session, and then next Asian or Sydney session and Asian session. So almost 3 sessions would be totally be aligned in this current situation. So It's really amazing to see that, but we have to actually plan our trades accordingly. So before we jump into the charts, I want to like look at like everything that so SPX 500. Before we look into that, I want to like basically look at how S&P 500 is doing. So after this 10% fall around here, it's around about like 10% fall that happened. See, this was 10.37%, and this was the first green day. That is basically, just a sec, that was basically a Friday. So you can see that Monday is also pumping up. So this is a good sign, a green signal, but you know, it is really hard for the markets to actually build the momentum again to go back up. But let's see how things actually looks like. So Nasdaq has become positive, and SPX has become positive. Dow is positive. So seems like Japanese index is positive, US FTSE is positive, UK FTSE is positive, and generally like a little bit of like a good amount of volatility is starting to induce a little bit, and overall still the battle is on as usual. But okay, BTC is down a little bit, the cryptos are down. The gold is back. Gold is like started going up on like 3000, and so let's see the Forex heat map so that we can actually understand that how the heat map is actually looking in there. So Euro USD is negative 0.90. It seems like Euro is weaker here. Euro is weaker here, and then we see the Aussie USD. Aussie is quite weak, more than the Euro here. Pound is less weak. So I think pound is like, and New Zealand Kiwi is like really less weak, by the way. No, it is not weak at all, but it is starting to get weak a little bit. So let's actually note it down, because it's really good to see that NZD is strong, and then we can see that the pound is more stronger, and then we can see that Euro is stronger, and then Australian dollar. So Australian dollar seems like it is getting the hit right now. And if we see like USD CAD here, so CAD is also weak than USD Swiss. Swiss is more weak, and yens are the weakest right now, because USD JPY, so that's why it's like a correlation that we are actually studying right now. And if we see GBP JPY, we can see that it's quite weak, and Euro is also weaker, like right here. And NZD, with NZD, it's around about 0.321, sorry, 0.31%. So it seems like it's really weak. And if we see with the Chinese yuan, we can see that a little bit of weakness in front of Chinese yuan as well, that USD is getting a little weaker. So yens are the weakest right now. This is what we can actually interpret on the bird eye view right here. So guys, let's jump into the charts and understand that how specifically things are being built up, and what we can actually expect. So there's nothing that is actually portrayed right now here. and still the dollar is holding the place right here. And as we can see that the dollar is holding the ground exactly to the point where the elections happened. So this is around like 103,300 or 103,400 level that the prices are holding right now. What we can actually look into it is just a sec, guys. So right now what we are looking at is that the dollar is actually holding the ground right here. And then we see the USD CAD right here, that USD CAD has formed like this head and shoulder right here. The neckline broke around here, so Canadian dollar is getting stronger, but it's still in this intact within this huge big range, this range that has been formed. And overall the situation is that prices are holding right now here. So if the dollar starts keep bringing up the momentum, we might see a move like that on the upper side. But overall, let's see that how actually dollar reacts, because currently if we see the DXY, it's like literally doing nothing down there. It's like holding the same level. We can see like a double bottom around here, so that's why we are actually witnessing this low momentum in the CAD right now. So but we do have a CPI for Canadian dollar, which is forecasted to be like positive right here, and not much positive, but only the CPI monthly might be holding. Overall their forecasted CPI is around 2.2%. So similarly USD CHF, we can see that the dollar had gained a little bit of momentum. We can see that this is like a three touch pattern right here, that one touch, two touch, and three touch, and then the prices broke down, and now they are like making a low hanging fruit trade, but it's not fully developed. Then we can see that USD JPY USD is really strong right now in the yens, can give us a good potential position. But for the yens, we do have like their interest rate also would be coming around, like it might be coming in the evening, most probably, because it's tentative. But this is what I feel, that they usually give the interest rates usually at the evenings. So right now what we are looking at is that the USD is stronger here, and with the euro we can see that euro is still holding the ground similarly to the yens. Like right here you can see that the price is forming higher highs, a little bit of failure, but again like broke the structure around here, might even like continue like that, but it's like the time mostly people might be exiting around here, so not much of an activity in euro GBP right here. So euro Aussie has given us a significant move on the downside. We can see that the level right here has been broken down here, so it is enough of a signal, guys, that as we were discussing previously, that this was the range right here, this is another range right here. Prices broke out of this range, so any sort of a pullback that happens can give us a wonderful opportunity, and this is the clearest zone around here which can actually give us like a far more profit. So in that situation right now there might not be a pullback, but if we see a 1 hour time frame, we can see that let the price actually come back to this order block right here, then we might see a reaction, and this could be a wonderful setup, by the way, guys. Like, see, it's a round number as well, most probably like where the reaction can happen, so kind of like solidify our trading plan. So this is what I actually interpret it like that, because of this continuous weakness happening in the Australian dollar, and right now it is also the weakest one. So in that case there's a breakout around here and might give us a pullback, and we can continue like that towards the downside, most probably. Euro NZD has also broken out the structure, and most probably like we would be looking on the downside trades, not much, but a beautiful pullback around this order block, and then this break of structure, and this break of structure and this break of structure, we can see the clear zone on the downside. And how beautiful the levels are, you see, that are basically indicating the clear moves around here. So most probably like the trend would be shifting and continuing like that until unless like euro starts getting stronger, but NZD is the strongest. And then we see the CAD, there isn't much of the movement in the CAD and euro, because euro CAD has been like going sideways for a while, and euro JPY, we can see that it is breaking on the upper side, not much in the euro CAD, euro yen as well. But what are the point of interest is the prices would react around here. Really a great setup that could be actually formed. 163,500 round number level, I would be placing my alert, so that if there is some kind of like swing failure or something, I can actually use that. Euro CHF, euro is being pushing on the upper side, pound is stronger, pushing on the upper side. Similar structure with the pound Aussie, that prices are being pushed on the downside. With Kiwis, pound and Kiwis, we can see that Kiwis are really strong, and pound CAD around about their equal strength right now, and that's why there's a ranging. And GBP JPY, we can see that the yens are getting really a big hit. They started like they pushed the prices on the downside, and now yens are getting weaker, so that's why pound is giving us a wonderful opportunity to give us like a good pullback, and this continuation trade, amazing trade. And similarly pound CHF, nothing much, sideways. And Australian dollar is getting a bit stronger in front of USD right now, and this is AUD NZD, as Australian dollar was getting weaker and weaker. So That's this was actually the trade was taken, and the stop loss was managed, so not a big hit on to me, but overall it's a beautiful move that actually happened. So seems like New Zealand Kiwi is really strong. Australian dollar a bit getting stronger than the Canadian dollar right here, and Australian dollar is quite stronger than yens. And this is a trade that was actually executed. I locked my profit around this point. Then there was big sell off, so I kind of like had to like close out my position, but still it got closed in the profit. So this was a wonderful trade, by the way. It worked around about 23 pips. Australian dollar, US and New Zealand Kiwi, Kiwi CAD, and yens, Kiwi Swiss. So Kiwis are quite strong, by the way. And this is the CAD JPY. This was an interpretation that I actually did. So gave us this wonderful move on the upside, and not much into the CAD CHF right now, and CHF JPY. So less likelihood, but after the yen's data that it came out, the prices are getting a bit stronger into the yens as well. So this is how the things are looking right now. And if you see the news, if there is some kind of like what are the news that are actually happening. So Japanese indices of the tertiary industry activity, the data has been announced. US Fed rate decision, what to expect on 19 March, and Trump saying that I am pleased to announce Michael Mickey Brown Bowman as a Federal Reserve. Oh, Trump, I am pleased to announce that Michelle Mickey Bowman will be the Federal Reserve new vice chair of supervision. Right. Let's see who is this person. Oh, it's her. She's an attorney and the member of Federal Board of Governors in 2018. So she would be a new vice chair of supervision. So seems like there would be something happening if she's a vice chairman. So the Powell would be affected, of course, and although the power had like got the extension in the Biden's era, so it's a tariffs he would be imposing, and Fed prepares to lay down a marker on the impact on the Trump policies. So Federal Reserves have like Federal Reserve have like a really important role, by the way, guys. Like, let me clear you a little bit about that as well. So Federal Reserves actually helps to balance the monetary supply in the country of the dollars. And there is another thing that they also buy the treasury bonds that are being issued by the US Treasury. So instead of like a retailer buying that bonds, but Fed also like keep on buying that. So if she is coming in here, so she might be like thinking about the rates as well. So let's see how it basically influenced the market. So overall, this is what we are looking at, and the New Zealand Kiwi overall is the strongest one, then pound are strongest, and euro, and then Australian dollar. So we can get some trades out here. It's just the waiting stuff. So anyway, guys, this was it from my side today. So if you have any questions or anything you want to like ask, you can ask me. I would love to answer. Okay guys, take care. I think